Okay. Can people online hear me talking? If you raise your hand. Awesome. All right. And you should be able to see my screen and maybe our webinar um, picture as well. Video. Can I make that smaller? All right. Okay, I'm going to put your hands down. Maybe. All right. All right, so welcome to our session. We'll get started in just a second. Make sure you guys are seeing the right screen. All right, so Megan and Shalika and Elizabeth, can you hear now? Megan can, Shalika can. Elizabeth, you might want to toggle your audio from computer or the phone and back again. All right, we've got 12 people online today. Thank you. I'll go ahead. So Elizabeth, you still haven't, do you want to type in the question bar? Or you still having issues hearing? Okay, great. Thank you. So I'll read out who all is online. I'm trying to get y'all unmuted. Let's see. All right, so it looks like you have to unmute yourself if you want to talk. It's not letting me unmute everybody. All right. All right, so online we have Blair Trawick, Chelsea Mason, Darlene Epley, Elizabeth Rote, Janice Dills, Megan McNutt, Nicole McNeil, Sally Reynolds, Shalika Covington, and Wesley Wood. Thank you guys for joining us. And if you guys want to introduce yourselves.
Hi, Kelly Jones. I'm Carla Stafford.
All right, great. I'll get this out of the way. So please, I guess raise your hand if you have questions. We'll stop. I'll try. Or it won't let me unmute you guys. All right, so do make sure you signed in today. The bit.ly is at the top of the screen there. In our home-based user group, there's the link right there for you guys are awesome at answering each other's questions. And the link for the HBMU presentations are in your shared folder. And then there, I left a link at the bottom of this slide for the home-based maintenance weekends. I forgot how you guys can see the screen. Show me the buzzers. All right, so we'll pause every so often to see if we have any questions from you guys out there, but we'll get started. All right, so these first few slides we'll just swing through because you guys know what products we offer through the home-based setup, Power School SchoolNet. It's no longer called Talent Ed, it's NCEES and Canvas. All right, and there's the reason why we meet. So we always have awesome sessions when we meet together, so I hope you get a lot out of today as well. We're kind of going to talk over some of the updates that have come out, more about CCES. We'll do the successes. Oh, I didn't set up a Padlet. We'll use Monday's Padlet because we didn't have anybody Monday. So I have that link out there for you. And then I have a list of who your advisory council reps are. And then we'll get into talking about your middle of year processes because you're either in them right now or getting ready to get in the middle of the year. And then we'll have some new guides out there for you. And then we have some networking time. All right, so this past weekend we had an update, and of course it broke something. So a lot of people are experiencing on the My Staff page, district admins on the My Staff page cannot drill down into their schools. And then principals are finding where they're trying to set those administration staff management rights, they can't drill down into different areas either. So that has been reported. I could drill down as well as a super user. Vendor came back and said, clear your cache and cookies, so try that. I tried it in Firefox, Chrome, and Edge. Chrome is not working for me, but Firefox and Edge are not. I didn't have a Mac to try it on, so those of you that use Macs, let me know if you're having the same issue. So I reported that back to the vendor. They sent it up to their engineering team, so hopefully it'll be fixed soon. We didn't have any major updates in this past weekend. You do have a new bar at the top of your screen and new icons for your envelope. That's your messages. And then you have a new icon for your calendar. And then there's a question in a circle for the Power School help for NCEES system. And then your name disappeared, and now you have a circle with your initials. What else? Power School wanted to put a drop down for an app switcher. So if for any program that Power School owns that DPI is using, you could use the drop down and switch over to the other app. However, it's not been tested with IAM and single sign-on, so it's off for North Carolina for now until they get all that tested. And then the PD updated help text for course search. The last update before this one improved the course searching. So if you're searching for a math course, a lot of people are getting social studies at the top of the list. And now you should just hit math at the top of the list. Well, they just put some help text in there to let you know that. All right, let me check with all right. I don't know how to do this. I need another screen. All right. Can you guys hear me so far? I just want to make sure. Sally, you have a question? Let me check. Oh. All right. Looks like you were only seeing the main screen. I'll go back. I think we had paused it earlier while we were waiting to start. All right, so let me see if you can see that. Okay, it looks like it's moving now. It's just got a little lag time in it for some reason. Okay, thanks for letting me know that. Okay, Sally, I unmuted you. Can you see okay now?
I can see it fine now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right. Need a second screen. All right. Okay, so that was all about the updates. They were also supposed to fix, if anybody's using HRMS, the DLC credit types were not coming over. So that was supposed to go in this weekend, but I heard from some districts that they still are not coming over. So I have updated the ticket with the vendor, and we're going to see where that's at as well. Just continue to use your help guides that are out there. Your evaluation guides, even though they say 1819, are still good. I will be removing that acknowledgement signature override. I have a new one that will be updated this week, and you'll get it today. It is linked in your slides. All right, so I did go back to DPI and HR and HRMS department for this issue with the demographics. Link should now be updating these codes They have all the instructions to update the codes correctly. HRMS has now confirmed that they are updating these codes for career status and SB1s and SB2s. This is, of course, all changed now, but we're working with Tomberlin's department, so maybe next year we'll match up with what they are now. But right now we still have to use the old codes because that's how the script is written. I will be going back. I just learned this last Thursday and Friday that HRMS says that they are feeding these codes. So if it's still not right for you, please update a ticket if you already have one with me, or open a new ticket so I can have some people to look at, and then get with the vendor and see if there's something on their side that's not calculating the codes correctly. Okay, and you did see that we have CCES in April. So is anybody, you guys on spring break that week?
Sally messaged that Wake County is.
Okay, because we do need presenters, definitely for NCEES. Brian can't come, he's on spring break, so he won't be able to present. We do need you guys, if you have any good reporting features or things you do for the evaluation system, professional development. We've got a lot more people putting professional development in. We do definitely need those sessions, and I know everybody enjoys hearing from their peers. I don't mind co-presenting with you, just email me and we'll try to work something out. I'll probably still do the regular sessions that I do, but if we can come up with some new sessions, or the sessions like that Sally used to do, the reporting ones, and I don't know if you and Angela are gonna be able to.
I don't know. We have to discuss.
So yeah, so just think about it, but we have to get proposals in within the next 2 weeks. Okay. Now, let me see if we have any other questions out here real quick. Okay. All right, I think we're good. All right, so if you guys would click on the next slide, I'll click on the number 1 palette. We'll use this one because we didn't have anybody Monday for NCEES. And please add your challenges and successes. We'll give you about 5 minutes to do that. Since the last time we met, what's been going good? What do you need help with? What do you need DPI to do? And I'll add a column for any action items we might come up with. Oh, to the slides?
Yes.
This one right here. Perform enterprise and professional learning. Oh, they did
As
it.
soon as I start to wrap my head around one.
They did it at the beginning of the year, so it's just, yeah. Yeah.
Nobody even knows what that means anymore.
We're going through trying to fix things.
Just call it NCEES.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, you get in okay? All right. While y'all are doing that, I'll be checking for questions.
See, it happens.
Yeah.
But it happens.
Yeah.
It's been like 2 months since we've had a whole
That's
system
true.
shut down.
That's true.
And like cease and desist. I raised my rating on my comment and it's still on yours.
I'll refresh it and see. Sorry, you're seeing my screen jump around. Cannot find the link. Sally, I'll get the link, I guess, to the to the Padlet. Yep. Okay, you're welcome. All right, let's take a couple more minutes, then we'll look at the notes we have out there. Okay, so we'll get ready. If you want to talk about any of these, please just unmute yourself or raise your hand if you can, and I will unmute you. This is your time and your chance to go ahead and make any comments. So we will work on that and make sure we can hear you. So let's start with the successes. It says PD mostly is going really well. So if you're having any issues with PD, go ahead and open a ticket. The help desk should only be pretty much working on NCEES tickets now. And while I'm standing here, I did make a recommendation that NCEES support not move to Power School this year. And the assistant superintendents approved it. So we should be good because we have empowered you guys with Assume Identity. And that meets our Ernst & Young report that came out. They said we need to empower the districts to troubleshoot their own issues. Sorry about the background noise. But so moving forward, we'll revisit if ever it needs to go to Power School. But right now, NCEES is staying at DPI. And our support desk should be answering you very quickly. If they're closing tickets without giving you an answer, email me directly. Or open a ticket and email me the number, and I will just take a peek at it and make sure it's getting answered. Another plus is using the PD system. Great. We have a lot more people opening up their PD offices, putting in their own PD, using the transfer credit manager and different things like that. So that's great. It's been a while since the whole system crashed. That was Kelly. You want to speak to that, Kelly?
Well, I think we've been a couple of months now without having a whole system-wide shutdown. And so that's good because, we were having to like stop everything until it was figured out. And so, I think that that's a positive that
Yes.
it's been a little more smoother. I know every time an update happens, it seems like things get a little shaky that next week, but I think it's getting better.
Good, good, I hope so. Yeah, because I was about to have the hair on fire after that last one. They did find out that they needed to up the number of records, and it went from like, it wasn't recognizing all the UID numbers. So we had reached our limit of 9 million, and now they upped that limit to 92 billion.
Well, that ought to
So
cover us.
hopefully that should cover us for a while, so that we can save all the evaluation records per UID, unique UID. All right. Challenges. Some observation is duplicating. Whose is that?
It's me. I emailed you about it.
Oh.
And it's happened a couple of times. I know you said you're gonna send it over, but, one of our, admins put, an observation in, and then when they went out, it
Oh,
had A and B.
yes.
But then when they delete
That.
one, there's nothing in the second one, so they lose everything whenever.
So they need to delete backwards. So if they have A, B, C, they need to delete C, B, and leave A.
I think we've done it both ways, and it still
It should be
leaves
there.
with nothing. But luckily, they had it on paper.
Okay, good.
And I've told mine to screenshot it or print it.
Yeah, that was happening when we were having those,
Just to make
whenever we
sure.
have those page loading issues, the system kind of glitches and doesn't realize, it puts it in twice
Right.
or more. So yeah, so they should be able to just.
So as long as A is left, it
Yeah.
should, okay.
Yeah.
We'll try that again. I think
Okay.
that we tried that, but
Well,
I
hopefully
don't
with
wanna.
the increase in the amount of space, maybe we won't have that again, but I'm not seeing the page loading issue, I
No,
don't think lately either.
it's been a couple weeks.
Yeah.
since the last one. And then most of the time it's their cookies or their cache that's
Yeah.
preventing.
Right. All right. Digital CEUs is a challenge. Who wants to speak to that? Anybody? So whoever put in that ticket, if you want to unmute yourself or go in and edit your little ticket there and put additional information in there for me to take back, please. I'm assuming that might be the HRMS issue for the digital CEUs. Also, the Moodle issue is still occurring. So DPI built all their courses in Moodle because it's connected to NCEES. And you guys, when you have your PD offices, can create courses in Moodle. You should be able to as well. However, once people are completing their Moodle course, it shows complete in their Moodle dashboard, but it never fully feeds back to NCEES to show complete in NCEES. So this has been going on for 2 years, and we've been pushing back at the vendor. They finally, Sean Baer came back and said that they need to upgrade their Moodle system. But they've been crickets is when that will happen. So I have a script that I run. I try to run it every other day. If you need it run on a certain day, please open a ticket. They'll escalate it to me and I'll get that script run, because when I'm traveling, sometimes it might be a couple days before I run it. But I do have a fixed script that I can run, and it will complete completed Moodle courses. So if that's the issue, let me know and open that ticket so we can document it that the vendor has not corrected this yet. All right. I have a site admin that sees all teachers in the district. Please email me the ticket number. Open a ticket for that and email me the ticket number. They should not see that. Well, site admin do if they're coming in as the head principal. Now, if it's an AP that you've given site admin rights to, then we need to check their settings. You need to go in and administration staff management if you're not experiencing an issue right now. And look in and see at the top of the screen if they're being system assigned all those rights or if somebody has manually assigned all those rights. But please get a ticket in for that. Let's see. All right, I have a question. Just 1 second. All right. Okay. So the question was the digital CEUs coming through HRMS. So Megan, I am working on the DLC issue that was supposed to be fixed this weekend. And then the next screen, the screen has December 9th in Monroe. It's, oh yes, it is intentional, Sally. It's the Padlet. That was my fault. I had not created a Padlet for today's date, and we didn't have anybody on Monday, so I'll fix the title that it is with us today on the 11th. So nobody showed up in Monroe on Monday for NCEES, so that's why you're using this one. All right, so give us some more information and a ticket about that site admin if it's an AP. Site admin, if they're coming in with the principal's pay code 114, they are automatic evaluators of everybody in their district. All right, usually completed courses are synced to HRMS and in the NCEES transcripts within 24 hours, business day hours. Taking much longer. That's the Moodle courses issue. Now, if you are taking any Canvas courses, our DPI, OPLEs, online professional learning departments are creating Canvas courses, so some of your teachers and staff may be taking those. We had an issue with that as well, but they did find the issue for the Canvas courses, and it was fixed last week. So those grades are now feeding back if it's a DPI course. If you see that they have the green check, use Assume Identity and go to their transcript, and it should be showing there. If they have a green check, it should be showing on their transcript. And then look over to the right, there'll be a blue link for their certificate. If you don't see that, then I'll need a ticket because they shouldn't have a green check on a course and it not be on the transcript. Oh, just checking in. Showing on the transcript. But it still hasn't synced to HRMS to further the process. All right, so yes, DPI courses are coded as general. That's done on purpose because the districts approve what credit you want to apply the DPI courses to. All right, any other challenges or successes you want to speak to before we move on? All right, I don't see any additional questions right now. So we'll go back to the slides. Here are your advisory reps, just to let you know. Angela in Granville, Sherry Thomas in Guilford, Erica Newkirk in Chapel Hill, Carborough, and Kelly Jones in Edgecombe. We are accepting applications at this time. Our director, Vanessa Wren, sorry, my brain had a brain glitch. She has wanted people to apply, and she will be reviewing those in the next few weeks, and hopefully we'll get some people some notice that they want to join, and then get them on the board, and if anybody wants to come off the board, then we'll replace by the new people. Our next home-based advisory board meeting is January 7th. And of course, I'm the NCEES product consultant. I'm on the board, Robert Socks, in Educator Services. He is our NCEES business owner, so he was on the board as well. And then whenever our home-based manager is hired, that has gone through HR, and interviews should be occurring soon. So and that's to replace Rosalind Galloway. So I think that's.
That January date changed.
I got the 15th. I will check the date. Because in our department it changed back and forth, so
okay.
It could very well be the 15th. Yes. Okay. So let me see if we have any questions before we move into middle of year. All right. Any reason from Blair? Any reason the delay of syncing from completing the course in NCEES with HRMS? I don't think so, Blair. And is that, we're already working with your district or not? Let me know. But we are working with several districts on the sync. They did discover a few issues. There seemed to be a time period when records were getting duplicated in there. There's also an issue with the DLC credits that we talked about earlier. It was not recognizing those. Some are experiencing an issue with general credits, not coming over with the correct amount of credit hours, and that we're working on next. But let me know so we can get with our HRMS department so they can investigate. We had to work with one district because their records were doubled and tripled up. So then our people had to go in and clear out those extra records so that the records would process in a timely fashion, because it should be processing, I think, at least nightly. It is nightly, but if not more than nightly. So Blair, just if you need to open another ticket for that question, go ahead and do that, and just email me the ticket number. All right, thank you, Blair. All right, so last Tuesday, a week ago, we had the teacher middle of year processes. So we'll just go quickly through that. We did our webinar, so it is available for you to watch. It's the usual processes, but in case we have anybody new with us today, I didn't think to ask that. This is the slides that we presented for the middle of the year check-in process. And we always do it with Kim Simmons. Kim works with Robert Sox in his department. She does work remote. She lives in the mountains, but she is awesome with the policy and with how those observations should occur and with the ratings at the end of the year. If you do watch that webinar and you want that 0.1 hours of credit, email Kim. She'll be glad to send you the certificate. All right, everybody should know how to access NCEES by going through IAM, an NCEES cloud. And this is the teacher landing page. Of course, this is still a little old now because we've got the black bar at the top. It's now blue. But it just shows you what a teacher sees. They see the home, my evaluation, staff evaluations. Everybody sees that, but they don't have anything unless you've given them peer or mentor rights, something like that. And then they have access to help guides. I'm finding a lot of teachers don't know that they have help guides out here. So they can see if they're on a comprehensive plan, they can go it themselves and open up that comprehensive plan help guide in the help guide tab. And then of course, professional development has now been broken out into 2 tabs. So professional development, you can search for courses to take, and the other tab is now called My Courses. So once you sign up for a course, it will show up on the My Courses tab, and that will also be the tab that they can access their My Transcript. Okay, so here's some help guides that are posted. I've highlighted the actual evaluation guides that teachers can use. And so the middle of year will be your observation 2 and the PDP mid-year review. So this is just a quick shot of the container that they'll be going into. On the left is the observation container. Probably this is for a comprehensive plan, I think. And then on the right is the PDP mid-year review container. Just a reminder that we now have those information icons that will tell you, if you hover over the top of the eye in the circle, it will tell you what must be done before somebody can work in that activity that has the eye. And we've enabled some email icons in different areas. So if a teacher wants to email their evaluator or their peer, they can just click in there, or vice versa. The email icons are there. And then there's also in a couple of areas the PDP printer icon in the PDP plan. So you can print their PDP plan from there. It does have check boxes, so you can only print what you want to print out. So the teacher evaluation process, this is what Kim would talk about, the policy side of things. Mid-year covers component 5 and component 6, and that's your observations. The formal observation is 45 minutes and informal is 20 minutes. The teacher with less than 3 years of employment, of course, will be on a comprehensive plan with 3 formal and 1 formal peer observation. And then teachers with more than 3 years of experience can be on the standard or the abbreviated cycle. Do know that if they are in a renewing year, they must be on the standard cycle, not abbreviated. And then component 6 is that post-observation conference. All right, so Kim just has a slide here for you guys to refer to. This is also in your manual, the teacher guide, teacher manual, on page 21. This we've been really in our webinar stressing. No one observation should fully inform a teacher rating. So your ratings happen at the end of the year, not during the observation. You have your rating categories up there, but you are not rating the teacher during the observation. You're observing them, marking what you see and what you know, and then the teacher has a chance when you have that post-conference to bring back more artifacts or evidence to you to more inform that observation. You can change your tally marks. I would leave that observation open in NCEES online and not complete it until that conference has been held. Even hold the conference without completing it. Share the observation with your teacher or your staff and leave it open until you've held that conference. That way it gives the teacher a chance to bring back any artifacts and for you to discuss, and then the principal can know more to mark any additional check boxes without the district administrator having to go in and reopen the observation.
This year, for the first time, you can't open, or you have to close the observation before you can enter the post-conference. That was a new feature.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
So it's almost counterintuitive to leaving the observation open. A lot of our staff pull up the post-conference box and type as they're conferencing with the teacher at that time. So our staff used to leave the observation open until after the post-conference for exactly that reason, so that if the teacher had additional artifacts and evidences. So it just seems a little counterintuitive to the way the.
So they couldn't leave the observation open they could open the post-conference before?
Last year.
Last year you could.
Okay.
Until this year you
They
could.
didn't have that eye thing.
Okay, so let's talk about that and review that for next year.
Okay. It might be a better option, or it was
To
for
not
our
have
staff.
any requirement in place so that you could do both, leave both open.
Yes. And
Okay,
then
so
you
yeah, I'd want to
finalize.
hear from a lot of you guys that that's what you want to happen. I think
I
we're
sort
just
of have
kind of,
mixed emotions on that
yeah.
because I don't want them to complete the post
And then we'll have to go mark something.
right.
Yeah.
And I wonder if a workaround, and it's not convenient, but would be just to type comments into just a doc
Yeah.
and then cut and paste and slide back in once you've closed out the main thing. The biggest thing is with the post, if my concern, my hesitation in it would be completing the post and then it would be unethical, but that evaluator going back and then changing something in the rating before they close the formal observation and then lock in it.
Yeah, I agree, and I realize that that's why they changed the step, but I wonder if you could leave.
I wonder if they can just make the evaluator box open
Yes.
to be able
Yeah,
to.
I think we kind of did that on purpose because we didn't have the correct stringing dependencies to
Right.
set in place for that.
Yeah.
But as we move forward, and maybe as we get into the new form, we'll
And
have
maybe
more
if
control.
they can lock the teacher's signature piece so that the teacher can't sign off until the formal is locked.
Yes.
So then made the adjustments, lock the formal, then the evaluator does theirs, then the teacher does theirs. I would be okay with that.
Okay. All right. So, hey, Shonda, thank you for joining us. Yes, I'll back up to the slide so you can see the bit.ly. And then Sally, yes, I can unmute you.
Listen, Mark's been muted all day. Hi, Sally.
All right.
You know how hard it is to be muted when I have something to say?
Oh, go ahead, Sally.
So on the last conversation about putting notes in a post-conference, I had some administrators concerned about that as well, where they wanted to put notes for their post-conference, and they couldn't do that until the evaluation was finalized. But I was a proponent of limiting that because what was happening last year in several occasions for me was that someone would forget and they would then sign off on the post-conference and effectively locking themselves out of being able to make any changes to the observation, and then they had to contact me to open that step up. So the way I've been explaining the rationale to my principals this year is that that it's easier for them to write their ideas, questions, comments in each of the comment boxes than if they accidentally lock that evaluator acknowledgement and then have to stop the conference to contact HR to get it opened up. That's not the best use of their time. The other reason why I believe it's important that they put as much as possible in the comments and not in the post-observation box is if they are using that rating summary at the end of the year, anything written in the post-observation conference doesn't populate. And many of our folks use that to help them to write the summary evaluation. And so you would lose all of that richness in the summary evaluation.
That's a good point. Thank you, Sally, for bringing that out. Yeah, because that's what because they can put the notes in the observation, and they should go down to the ratings. But okay, all right.
Okay, you can unmute me. I'm done.
All right. Thank you, Sally. I'm gonna give Shonda just a minute to make sure she's got the link to the slides. And the slides we were looking at, Shonda, are also linked in this slide deck here. It's the NCEES DEC 2019 HBMU. Give me just a second to make sure you're in. All right, great. Thank you, Shonda. All right, let's get back to where we were. Okay. All right, and here's just a one-pager for you to know what needs to be completed in each evaluation cycle. Comprehensive. Kim has highlighted the red area for the mid-year, what must be done. The standard evaluation cycle and the abbreviated cycle. Notice late hire is not listed here. That's up to your district, what you use a late hire plan for, and how many observations you complete in there. So then we just walk the teachers through how to reopen their evaluation plan. They would, of course, go to My Evaluation and go to their Current Evaluations tab. And from there, they'll click on whatever their evaluation title is. Here we're showing the comprehensive. We remind them of what they need to see. If they've not started any of the activities, they have the gray circle flower, and then if they're in progress, it turns 3/4 blue. If they've almost completed an activity, it will be orange, or it means that somebody has requested the district administrator to reopen that activity. It will be an orange circle. And then once it's fully complete, it turns green. Now here, as we get toward mid-year and then into end of year, the green dots signify what must be completed before that summative evaluation opens. So late hire plan only needs that first observation completed and locked to open the summative container. The abbreviated needs observation 1 and 2, and then standard needs observation 1, 2, and 3. And your comprehensive plan, whether they're beginning teacher or not, must have observation 1, 2, 3, and peer completed.
So I have a quick question.
Yes.
On all of the staff evaluation pages where you look at observation 1, if it's got a green check and a lock, you know it's been checked and locked.
Mm-hmm.
But for observation 2, the locked containers only have a green check.
Okay, I need a ticket because they were supposed to fix that.
Right.
Yes. We've gone round and round. It seems like every time we have an update, it breaks.
And if you hover over it, it says completed.
Okay.
But if if you've got a whole screen and you're just
Don't
trying to
want to
do
hover
it, you
over.
don't want to have to hover over everything, and you certainly
No,
don't want
that
to
one's
click it.
supposed to be fixed for all
So,
plan
well,
types.
I checked just to spot check to see if I could catch one that didn't
Yeah.
happen, and I never found one.
Okay.
So if it had the green check in that second observation,
Mhm.
it was done. But then if you're looking at screens and you're looking at some have a lock and some don't have a lock,
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Yeah. Yeah, so, yeah, put in ticket, let me know specific people to look at. Okay, thank you. See if we have any questions before we move on. All right, it looks like we're good. All right, so then we complete the evaluation plan middle of year activities. And that just shows them how to get back into their observation 2. They should have the green checks on their training and orientation and in the observation. Here's what needs to be completed in this plan is the formal observation 2, the post-observation conference, and the post-observation conference teacher acknowledgement. They are designated with the required mark, which is your asterisk toward the end of the titles there. So watch for those asterisks. They are required fields. Notice in observation 2, those pre-conferences are not required, but you can do a pre-conference. So this right here is the written response that the teachers can do. So once the evaluation has taken place, they can do a written response at any time. So they can open up that written response. They can click edit. They should enter some comments, and they also have a place to attach any artifacts or evidence. And then they also have another artifacts area down below that they can edit and attach. Then the principal does get an email. I think I have it on another slide in the presentation. They'll get an email that says, you, teacher, has completed this written response. Please respond. And they'll have to go in and say, yes, they've received that written response, and they have a chance to edit as well. So just a review of this observation cycle, it does start with the teacher, or with the principal, sorry, with the evaluator or the AP or observer. If they want to do that pre-observation, and then it goes to the pre-observation acknowledgement of the teacher or staff. Then it goes into that formal or informal observation, depending on your plan type. And then the post-observation conference, the post-observation teacher acknowledgement, the chance for the written response, and the written response acknowledgement. And of course, the evaluator must then log the activity once everybody's where they want to be and they're done with that observation experience. Okay, any questions before we move into the professional development plan? Okay. I don't see any questions from you guys at home or at work. All right. So the professional development plan. All right, so we have, most everybody starts off on that individual growth plan. You may already have some on monitor plan, or you may want to be moving some to monitor plan now, or the directed growth plan. Kim has a slide here, and I'll let you guys read over that. Does anybody need an explanation over each of the PDP plan types? None of these are recommendations for dismissal. So if you're individual, the teacher does all the goals and setting. If it's monitored, the evaluator principal helps with the goals. And if it's directed, the principal is the one putting in the goals. And we had an issue earlier in the year that they couldn't do that, but they should be able to do that. Should be fixed. So here's where the teacher will go back to their evaluations and up in their PDP. And they should have a green check on their self-assessment. This is one area, or we had an issue with people getting back into areas that had the green checks and changing things. They should not have been able to get back in and change things once they've completed. So the vendor did check, and they found a setting that was toggled to allow people back in once things are completed. So that should now be fixed. And the only one that you should be able to get back into with the green check to change completed data is your self-assessment in a PDP. And that's because some districts want their teachers to reassess themselves at mid-year. If they do that step, they should print out, if they want a record of how they assess themselves at the beginning of the year, print it out to a PDF or on paper, because once they update that, it's changed. That's right. Okay, so then they open that PDP mid-year review, and they click on the new to enter the mid-year review. The required activities are also shown on the screen for the PDP, and that's the PDP details, the evaluator signature, the mentor signature if a mentor is assigned, the teacher signature, and then of course the locking activity. This is just a screenshot of the help guide. They are very good for you teachers to use, or your evaluators. We have screenshots for each step, and each step explains what's required and what is not. So that was pretty quick with the PDP. Here is the cycle for the PDP, and that's the teacher. It starts with the teacher, and this one with the PDP details, then goes to the evaluator to review and acknowledge, to the mentor if there is one, and then back to the teacher to review and acknowledge, and then it goes back to the evaluator to lock the activity. So this is just a screenshot. I wanted to let you guys know about the record of activities report. Every year we have issues with the settings not being correct at the top of the pages. So like the school won't print on there, or the teacher's job won't print on there, like teacher classroom. That part should be fixed. Some of the reports, because you have these in your comprehensive standard, these record of activities and your PDP, are putting the full demographics for the position assignment field, and some of the reports are just putting their role, like teacher classroom. That's fine. We're going to work on streamlining that. And then the school location should also populate. Before, to get the school and the position assignment to populate, you had to fill in teacher background. That was not a required step, so a lot of schools were not doing it. So those fields were not filling in. So now it's required, now it fills in once they complete their orientation. So now they should have the school filled in and their position subject area filled in. But when they fix that, now the fields double up on some of the reports. So you may see a blank school field and a filled in school field. So don't worry about that right now. We're working on getting that fixed. At least one of the fields is now filled in. Everything else should also be complete now. You should be getting all the signatures you need to see, and then the dates of when each thing occurred. And anybody can run these, teachers, principals, PAs, they can run record of activity reports. All right, so that's all we had. I did want to talk about professional development. So as teachers are trying to meet their goals, or staff is trying to meet their goals that they've set to meet certain standard alignments, they can come into their professional development tab. There's an area called courses aligned to standards. Just want to do a little side note. It is overlapping with the container below it. When you go to that screen and look, just toggle your window bigger and smaller, and it should pop out for some reason. But then you can do the little pluses beside the standard to open up the standard and see the buttons. You'll see an available button and an explore button. The explore buttons do nothing in North Carolina, but they can't remove them. The available button is where you're going to find your courses. So you can also toggle into each element. So if they only want to do something from element 1D, they can click available for element 1D and get a list of courses. And that's where the green arrow is pointing down to that list of courses. If they're not ready to start a course, I've got a red circle down there at the bottom, circling a pin. They can pin the course and it goes to their My Courses tab, and then it'll activate the container that says My Pin Courses. So they can go back later and start those courses. We'll talk more about the evaluation light bulb. So this is a good place also while they're in their observation or in their assessment. This is another one I'm working with the vendor to make sure these light bulbs are in every rubric, because they're not. We've got most of them fixed. I think we're waiting on the abbreviated plan and I think the principal rubric. I think we're waiting on that one. So principal self-assessment is working. So they can click on the light bulb. Depending on what their role is, depends on what they see, although everybody kind of sees the same thing. So they'll get a list when they click on the light bulb of courses. Can y'all see that okay? And then if they see a course they want to take, they check the box to the left of it. They can click on the title to get more information, and actually I think start it from the inside of that little window. The evaluators can recommend or require a course, and then the next box over has been fixed. It should now say recommended and required channels. They need to check that. I have a screenshot in the slides for that. The teachers see the register button over here, so they can register for a course. But the evaluators would have to select each of those and click add to add the course to the teacher. And we'll talk more about that on another screen. Just a reminder that our Educator Effectiveness Department does have several Moodle courses. This is their website, rt3nc.org, that lists all the courses they created. You should only be looking at the self-paced courses because DPI, once they had the big layoff a year ago, we lost all our people that did the instructional-led courses. So we're working on rebuilding the OPL department's leads and seeing what we can get moving forward. But these are courses that Educator Effectiveness has created. They can read out here, but you cannot sign up out here. You have to go back into NCEES.
And they can type it in from their either
their search bar. Yeah, the number or the name. Yeah, I think out here it's just got the names. All right, so that was the webinar. Let's take that. All right, let me see if we have any questions. Okay, looks like we're good. All right, this is what time it is. All right, it's 11:30. We're going to break at 12 for lunch. I'll be tripping myself. All right, so let me get back. Okay, so here's some additional information about the principal evaluation process. We held that webinar Tuesday night, and I think I need to update the link in the slides because we just held that one. So I'll get that updated before Friday. The principal, they're in their mid-year conference time. Or if they've never met, then they need to get that pre-evaluation planning time and the initial meeting and all done so that they can move into that mid-year conference time. So principals are, the evaluators needs to identify the principal's strengths or weaknesses, make recommendations for improving performance, and ensure that accurate information is being collected and recorded and entered. All right, so we'll skip over this because we just went through the slides for the middle of the year for staff. All right, and there's just a few questions you need to ask yourself when you're doing that mid-year process. Do we need any additional observations, or has the peer been done before we've signed off on everything and locked it? And is the mentor done what they need to do? Then does the principal need to sign off for an override? There's a pre and post conference meetings. Check those dates because you know you have that 10-day period from doing an observation to then doing the next step.
Was there a report for that?
For the dates?
Yeah.
There is some reports out there that were full dates. So we'll get those for you. Okay, so here's some new help guides. We're going to talk about Transfer Credit Manager this afternoon. Here's your new guide for the observation override. It now lives, and I'll go to the live site probably to show this to you, but do get this guide to show you. Before the evaluator could go into the teacher acknowledgement and sign off on it. They can no longer sign off inside the teacher acknowledgement. Let me see. All right. if I'm gone far enough. No, let me see if I can find somebody. All right, give me just 1 second. While I'm out here, I'll show you the issue that some people are experiencing in just a minute. Oh, you know what? I need to be a principal. Let's try again. All right, I'll wait for that to load up. There we go. If you guys aren't using that little Head and Shoulders, do start using that to review when people have issues. It's awesome to go in and see what they see. All right, so they're going to go to their staff evaluations, and they're going to open up an evaluation of a staff. Whoever is refusing to sign. I may not have too many I can use out here because we used a lot of these for a lot of testing. Okay. All right, so I've completed this one, but I'll show you. So let me zoom in a little bit. So we're going to use our imaginations, and imagine these green checks aren't here. They would have been gray circles because the teacher would have been refusing to sign off on their observation. And then the document acknowledgement override would also have a gray circle. So the principal will come into the document observation override. And they would have to edit this. Put a note. The comments are required. If you are running reports on this and you see blank comments, let me know. And somebody yesterday saying that they didn't see any comments. So these are required. So if I need to check and make sure the vendor has the requirement in place, I need a ticket to go by. So they must put in that requirement. They can also attach a file if they have some kind of file documentation for this override, because we shouldn't be overriding a teacher's signature. They should be signing it, right? So if you have to, because the plan has to move forward, that's the only time that you're going to override that. And who can override? That's going to be your district administrator, your evaluator, and some districts are using observers, so that has to be there. I know I've had some districts that say, can we take the observers out? But other districts are using them.
And so if they override it and they use the document, because we've not had to use this yet, but if whoever the administrator or evaluator is that uses that document observation override, if they use that, then no longer do they have to have the teacher's signature in order to close out.
Correct. Okay. Because what this is going to do is you're going to save and exit. It's going to give you a green check on, let me go back.
On that portion.
On this portion.
Okay.
And then what happens is it processes overnight. Well,
So all would have green checks except for the teacher post.
Well, the next morning, the teacher post will have a green check,
Ah, okay.
okay? And then you can click in here. And you should see the evaluator signature. But see, this has been a test case. So.
Okay. So when that happens, when I run the report of administrator signing in lieu of teacher, that will pop up as one of those, but it's not one of those accidental
Yes,
ones.
and if your report's not pulling, because I got to make sure that the report with the new way this is working, that the report is still pulling correctly.
Still pulling.
Because I had one person yesterday said that they had, and we know we had one person that did this, but they're not on the report.
Okay.
So I need to check the report. All right.
Yeah. Now you say that, first of the week I ran that report and I had nobody on it, and I know I've had a handful of them this year.
Okay.
I'd have corrected.
So then I'll probably need to ask them to update that report. So I'll run that report too. If you can send me a couple that you know that happened to, and I'll check and to give them some names to look at so they can fix their links in the report. Okay, I don't see any questions on that process, so we'll go back. Oh, I was going to show you this. Let me stop this. Because I'm in Firefox right now. So when people were going to my staff, this area right here, it doesn't go any farther. And some people are only seeing North Carolina here, but notice nothing changes. So I can't drill down anywhere in the state. I did get this to work in Chrome, but it's not working in Firefox or Edge. And if it's not working in Mac, if somebody will open a ticket and let me know so I can let the vendor know as well so they can be checking the Mac system's browsers as well. It also is not working in administration staff management. We'll go there. When you open those admin rights, they're not able to drill down if they have access to more than one site. Okay. Oops. All right, so the other guide is the light bulb feature guide. This shows teachers how they can use that light bulb and shows your evaluators how they can assign the courses underneath the light bulb. I think I have some better screenshots in my slides. I don't know if I can. I don't know if you can see on the right-hand side of the screen where the evaluator has to click the box and then they can choose recommend or they can choose required. And then the final thing they have to pick is the recommended or required channel. And then they click add. And what that does is puts a channel on the teacher's My Courses page that's called recommended courses, or it puts a channel called required courses. And the teacher can view the courses and sign up for them. Nothing forcing the teacher to sign up for either one. You're going to have to let them know that you've assigned the course. It doesn't email them, or they'll see it on their page, and they'll see it in their observation only if they've clicked on the light bulb. The recommended container for the teachers, they can hide those courses. But if you've required a course for a teacher to take, there's nothing there for them to click and hide it on their page. So it'll be there. Let me see if we have any questions. Probably get close to 20 to. All right. Okay. All right, so we just kind of went over the admin middle of year process. Again, there's that initial meeting, there's in the self-evaluation and identification of their goals if they've not already done that. And from there, they get into their mid-year steps. Because they'll have identified the initiatives that they want to do, gather their data, artifacts, and evidence, and develop strategies moving forward to improve their performance and attain any goals. And then hold those mid-year conferences. I do have linked last year's webinar, but I will update that link to this year's webinar we held Tuesday night. All right, so here's your quick reports navigation. I did hear back from the vendor this morning. They have removed these 2018-19 finally from that list. So hopefully you don't have as many to scroll through at the top now. But all current year reports should have an asterisk in front of them, or most current year reports that you want to run. So it's going to be your mentor relationship reports, your observation start and end times, those reports, orientation dates for the current year. As the mentor signed off those signature dates for the current year, the PDP signatures for the current year, and then if you want to run those relationship reports, the post and pre-conferences signed by the teacher. We still cannot prevent the principal from signing off on the pre-conference.
Oh.
It's not a required activity. You can only do it on required activities. Okay. And then I think that's it. Oh, users with more than one active evaluation plan. So if you've assigned additional or changed the evaluation plan, they were on abbreviated and you realize they should have been on standard, then they will have maybe started the abbreviated, and the principal will still, once they've changed the plan type to standard, the principal will go in there and they say, well, they didn't change anything. I only see the abbreviated plan. Well, it's because the teacher now sees two, and this is where assume identity comes in handy. The teacher now has two plans, but they've never clicked in the new plan and started it. So you need to remind the teacher to start that new plan, move anything over. We have noticed that if you're replacing like a standard plan with a standard plan, because I had somebody that had a media that needed to be on counselor, but they were both standard, it will not replace the plan. You're going to have to archive or delete.
So when I archived it, it won't allow me to open a new one in the new.
Oh, when you archive, that's good to know.
So I've got one that moved from media to instructional technology.
Sometimes it happens with PDPs too.
And so
yeah.
Right now we're in discussions about whether or not we should finish the year on
right.
the other and then just make it.
So, you know, if you delete it, the teacher can still see it because it'll go deactivated.
So I delete it, she can see it if she needs to pull data. So what I've done is I've downloaded it as a PDF for my records, just in case, but I'm waiting to get some final answers.
Yeah, because our delete should no longer be a hard delete.
Right.
It goes deactivated status, but that means only your teacher or staff that owns the plan, they can see it.
Well, I've downloaded it, but because I archived the standard, and then I thought I could open a new standard with a new one, and when I went, what happens is when I go in and start new plan, it takes me back to the old archived plan, and it's still archived, but it lets me in.
Okay, interesting. Okay. All right. No questions? All right. So just remember that if you're replacing like a standard with a standard, apparently you have to delete it or deactivate it is what it's actually doing. All right. Again, here's that light bulb feature. This is where I had the screenshots for you. This is just showing you if you're creating PD, please align it to those standards. We also have standards. We also have alignment to school improvement plans. There's some fields out there for that too as well. So you can align it to standards or focus areas. The school improvement plan will be under the focus area alignment. But this is where whoever is creating the course would align to whichever standard or whichever element. And they can either do it to administrative or to teacher standards or both. This is the old screenshot that it used to say all possible location, and now it says recommended or required. All right. So we've actually gone through all our slides today. We had a lot of people saying they wanted to know more about PD. Let me see if we have any questions. So I'm gonna try to unmute you all out there again. Unmute all hands. All right, so that should give you guys access to unmute yourselves if you want to talk. Let me know if you can't. Or might need to click on everybody. I need to turn off the. All right, I'm trying to unmute everybody. If you want to mute yourself back, let me know. All right, so this is your chance to talk as well. What you have questions about, if you're not unmuted and want to be, just let me know, put in a question, to unmute you. I don't know who I've got that's clicking. Try it. Okay. All right. Cool. All right, so do let me know what you guys want to talk about. Do you guys have any questions in the room or out of the room, what you want to talk about? I do want to let you guys know, after we get questions, that we want to talk about Transfer Credit Manager before we end the day. You guys have any questions in the room on what you wanted to see today? Okay. Like Kelly, I think it's probably getting a little better. I want to knock on wood. Since Power School purchased us and we had those crashes, that was a crazy time period, but it should be okay now.
With no such anticipated response next summer, because the glitch happened because of the purchasing and how it was all transferred over and the data was being pulled, or?
No, the glitch happened mainly because there wasn't enough writing room or whatever.
Okay,
I think was the most of it, because we never had the system down with Performance Matters. We had issues, but the system never went down. Right. So, and even with Power School, I've documented the downtime, but they aren't saying it's been down yet.
Okay.
So we've got it documented. So we're working on that as far as our contract with Power School on uptime. So, all right, yeah, everybody's muted back, I think. So unmute if you want to talk. I'm going to go back then if we don't have, let me see if we got any resource slides for you first. We'll talk about our resource slides, and then we'll talk about Transfer Credit Manager, and we'll go to the live side to look at that. So we just did the middle of year for principals, and then we don't have another webinar until March. So if you guys are wanting any webinars, email me, and I'll be glad to put something together. If your teachers need something, if your principals need something, Kim and I will work putting something together between now and March. In March, she's doing the providing quality feedback and the summative evaluation. She's really excited about this one. So observers and evaluators, they'll probably want to join this. So let them know about it. And then she is continuing her AP webinars that she's been doing, her new APs. Those have been going really well. And then we'll do in April, in March, end of March will be the end of year webinar, and the first week in April will be the end of year for administrators. So, because I know some districts are wrapping up in April, so we're trying to get them in a little earlier than we used to for end of year. I will be starting NCEES office hours in January. We did some of these last year, but I've never had anybody again. So this will be helpful, I hope, as we get toward the end of the year. If we're not doing any webinars, then I'm hoping I can finish up those PD guides and get some videos out there for some quick minute steps for your teachers for next year. We'll do a few because we want to move to the new forms. So as we're moving forward with that process, we are still in negotiations with discontinuing the sync with CMS so that we can move forward with the new forms. So we're testing out different little areas right now. But I don't mind doing a few little quick webinars, maybe on some end of year processes in there. or videos, I meant. All right, we do have a new educator on loan. I don't know if you guys ever worked with these guys, but you can contact them. You can look at their website and see what they offer. Molly is here today. She's brand new this week. Stacy has been with us for a good year or two. She's in the West, Molly's in the East, but they handle all the different products. They help you out with needs for professional development. And then before you guys go, do complete the feedback for me, please. We appreciate that very much, the feedback we hear from you. Our next meetups, of course, we'll go from east to west next time. We'll start in Smithfield next time, and then go to Fayetteville, North Wilkesboro, and then Asheville. Did want to let you know about the CIS site, not the CIS, the support site. Why do I have that logo? Oh, so this top link, ignore that top link. That's going to go to the wrong page. But they changed their phone number Tuesday. So it's 919-716-1840. So that was effective Tuesday. If you need to call the support desk. The ServiceNow site is still the same. They just got new phone system.
Wow.
They're kind of like web-based phones. I haven't heard of those.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Where you run off the internet?
Yep, they're running off the internet. You're right.
Yep.
All right.
We've done that.
Mixed reviews.
Working. No, I like it.
You do?
And so if I get a call that comes in from outside, but it gets funneled through the front desk, it still pipes into me so I can see who it is. I also don't have to dial 9 to call out anymore.
Right.
And so it's had more perks to it. Also, it sends you an email tied to your telephone.
Yeah.
And so if they leave your voicemail on your phone, it pops up as an email.
Okay.
And you can listen to it on your computer if you're not in your office, and then you can respond to it because, you know, for you this week you're not in your
That's right.
office.
That would be beneficial.
And so you would be able to get those messages and kind of filter through them. They stay on the phone, even though you may open the email and delete the email.
Yeah.
You're still on your phone, so you're still in those backup when you get back. But I have found it to be very helpful because if I've just left my office and I'm on my way to a site and I get one of those, then I can listen to it and go, oh, hey, I need you to pick this up. I can turn around and go back and get it before.
Right.
Yeah. It's been really
Okay. All right, guys. So if you guys online have any questions, please get those in. I'm going to move over to Transfer Credit Manager while you're thinking about those questions. This is the guide for Transfer Credit Manager. What I actually want to do is if you guys want to open that, that's fine, but I'm going to go to the live side. All right, everybody that signed up for home-based meetups and all your PD playlist people that were administrators, I've not given this access to any instructional people. So if you're instructional and you're an admin lead, let me know. Transfer Credit Manager was changed last year. The vendor updated it and changed the whole process. So we're still working some kinks out, but now if you're an admin in the system, you're going to see some of this. You're going to see manage requests, manage bulk requests, my request, and I'll explain what this is in just a second. New credit request for another user. You won't see manage admin rights or configure approval processes. You will see configure emails, but that is DPIs, so please don't touch that. And you should see approval request administration. If you're only seeing my request, you don't have the full rights, and if you need them, let me know. But what happens in Transfer Credit Manager is now the teachers all have access to this and they all see my requests. So I'm just going to start there. So this is where they've gone to PD opportunity, learning opportunity. They have some credit hours that they want credit for to show on their transcript and NCEES. So they can enter a request. Let me show you. So the teacher would enter it under my request, or the counselor, or whoever it is learning credit. They would create a new credit request. I'll show you the form real quick. All of these request areas have this same form in it. So I hope you guys can see that okay. The required areas, again, have asterisks, so you must enter the event name or title. You must enter a description for that event. And you as a district decide if they need to let you know about this before they're entering these. But teachers have seen this and they're entering some of these like crazy. So the districts don't know that they're entering them. That's why I've added a few people, started adding people as administrators so that you can look at out here and see if you want to use it or if you don't want to use it. So they must also enter a date started and a date completed, the number of hours, because that's going to determine the number of credits. And then they can suggest, or if what they attended had that this is an academic or technology or DLC, they can put in here the 0.1 or 0.5 or 1.0, whatever the credit would be. This does not automatically give it to them. This is just a request. I do need some additional instructions if you guys know where to tell me to go to say, well, what meets an academic credit criteria? I don't know where to go. So if y'all let me know if you know where to go. We need to put those instructions in all of these, or I do. So then they can also attach evidence. We did not require this. You as a district are going to have to determine it.
So if they have a certificate, that's what they would.
Yeah, so they can upload their certificate, take a picture of it, scan it, upload it. If they have a PDF of it, upload it. If you need approval signatures in place, they have a form for that. They can attach that as well. And then they would submit it for credit approval. And I'll just go back and show you one that I have. I can go back.
So once they submitted the credit approval, it would go to the district admin?
It goes to me right now. It goes to all super users.
Okay.
And then it goes to who's ever assigned to be a transfer credit manager approver.
Okay.
And I have to set those. I need
Right,
to know.
I think I have the setup on it.
Yeah.
If I have those bars, that means I've been.
Yes, so I tried to add everybody. You guys that are online, a lot of you just got added this morning because you didn't sign in on the other sheet. I didn't realize how many people we had online. So I added everybody online this morning if you weren't also on the other sheet, the other sign-in sheet for today. All right, so then it's going to come here and you're going to see the in progress. It's pending approval. If I can get in there. So I'm also the credit approver for myself. It's not going.
And approve yourself.
Yeah. Well, maybe.
So yeah, do you click on the?
I'm trying to, there we go. I had to click on the title. All right. All right. So Tessa has worked with me. She's also a super user. So you may start seeing all our super user names in here. They don't have a way to block that yet. But we won't be approving your district request. So you'll see this blue screen. It'll list what was entered. It'll list how many hours. This is editable to the approver. And then down below is where you would assign the actual credit that they're going to get. And notice you can decide that it can go to one or more areas.
And break it up.
Yeah. And you would just have to enter whatever amount. Okay. And then you would approve or deny it. Either one is going to give you another window to put a note in. So if it's denied, you could type a note why you denied it, and then they have a process that they can resubmit it. So there's the area to put in a note. It's not a required place to put in a note, but you can like say, okay, you're approved, and submit it, and they would get an email. All right, so once we get the approvers in here, you should get an email when a credit request is in. Okay. And notice now I have a green thumbs up, so it's been approved. All right, so the other areas out here, and we have some counties really liking the bulk credit requests. I'll show that next, is your managed bulk requests. All right, so Right off the bat, you're gonna see Megan Heffley's name. She is in Brunswick County, and Brunswick County is using this heavily for every PD that they've ever done, so that's great. We are working with the vendor to either get a location field that can be filtered here, because you're gonna have to filter for your name if you're the person updating the record. Because right now you can't see out here by location which ones are yours. But this is, Megan will be entering it. Only the manager will be entering your request, so it's going to put your name on anything you enter. So then you can filter by your name here. So you can put updated by and then filter for your name and update the table. So let me see if I have it in here. Okay. So what this does is creating a new bulk credit request. We're going to click right here. Is it 12 o'clock? Oh, 12:02, so we'll do real fast. So here you're actually putting in the events on this first tab. If you guys don't mind, do you want to go through?
Yeah, I would.
We can come back after lunch, or we can just go to lunch late and then end the day, because I don't have anything else after this unless you guys
I'd love to
have questions.
right
All right. I'm
I
good.
don't, we don't use it, but something may stick. We won't
Okay.
put it out there.
All right. So you
Right,
put,
that means you're giving it to more than one person.
yeah, so you put a title in here. So maybe I'm holding a book study event or something. Whoops. I didn't try to save the title. All right. And then I'd have to put in a description. And you can play with these, but I don't think there's a way to delete, but you can archive what you've tested. I'd have to put in a date that it starts and a date that it's completed. How many hours is it? Maybe it's a 6-hour book study, so I'm gonna do 0.6, or 6 hours, sorry. 6 hours. And then what the credit would apply to. And again, you can do more than one. Again, this is only the request section. So we'll just do 0.6. All right, and then if I was attaching any files, it's the same form as before. That's why we didn't make these required, because the bulk doesn't always need attachments. And then down here is where you say, what does it actually apply? So this is if you have people that are both either learning, some are learning or getting academic credit and some are getting DLCs. You either enter this twice or you're going to have to hand fix some of those. So, but either way, it's going to be a whole lot easier than doing one teacher at a time. So I would click apply credits. And then you can put any notes in.
But you don't need to.
No, you don't need to. Submit it. All right, and then you're going to come over here and do your recipients. And you're going to add recipients.
And
So you have to
recipients
search
are
for
gonna
them.
have to be people who are in.
That are in
NCEES.
NCEES.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can search for them. It does hold the check marks because you may have pages of people. All right. So, and then I'm just going to add selected. And you are going to see people statewide. So this is what they need to fix, is seeing statewide. So be careful who you select. You should only be seeing names, maybe names and numbers. So now that's in there. It should be in there. Oh, don't click done.
Double click, Amy, don't you know, it's 2 things that you have to do.
It's not letting me click done.
Huh. Close maybe? Because
Maybe.
you selected your 2.
Yeah. Close. Okay.
So
So they should be on the list. There.
Then once you've done that, how do you link? I know there's a system of how to link that to your, if you're collecting CEUs and HRMS. There's a process for that. It
Yes.
doesn't look like it's a very easy process though.
So there has been a lot of issues we've noticed with the HRMS process. So just get those tickets in.
Okay.
This will actually put it on the transcript. You don't see the word transfer on the transcript,
Okay.
but in the HRMS process, it should bring it over as a transfer
Okay.
credit type. So,
We haven't dived into it just yet because I knew that there were some glitches before we
Yeah.
started to rely on it and then realized it's not working.
mm-hmm.
Because it only pulls in, stuff that's created and completed in the system, or that's like you're doing is, put together in the system.
Right. So you can just have approvers as well. And I'll need to find out a little bit more about that don't see all of this. They just come in here and they can manage the approvals or approval request administration. One of these you can sort by location. I think it's this bottom one, but it takes a while to load. So this other one is enter a new request for another user. That's just you putting in a request for a single person. Okay. Let me see if you guys have any questions out there. Well, all right, guys. So if nobody has anything else, we're gonna end for the day. If you guys online have any questions or any comments, please put them in the question box. And email me if you have any other issues going on or anything you want me to check up on for you. So thank you guys for coming out today. Really appreciate that. This is recorded, so we'll get it posted.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you, Candy.
All right. Thank you, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and end the webinar. All right. Bye, guys.